Today we will be learning about formulas. So this is going to be Introduction to Formulas. You might have heard of formulas, and you might already know some formulas. But formulas are a very important part of mathematics, and once you memorize formulas, it's a really easy way to get the answers. But I think it's always important rather than just memorizing formulas, to understand how the formulas are derived. But in this section, we're just going to go over how to use formulas once we're given formulas. So what are formulas? Formulas are, I'm just going to give a really rough definition. A formula is a rule that helps us get the answer given the required information. Okay, so when you're working with formulas, let me actually give you an example of a formula before we go further. P equals 4 times S is an example of a formula. This is actually the formula that you can use to find the perimeter of a square, but you don't need to know that here. We're just going to be using this formula. And you need to know two things when you're using a formula. The first is what do I know? And second is what do I need to find? What do I need to find? Okay, so for example, let's say that we know that S equals 5. Okay, then what do I know? Number one, what do I know here? I know that S equals 5, and I know this formula here. Okay, and what do I need to find? I know S, 4 is just 4, so I need to find this part here. I need to find what P is. What is P? That is what I need to find here. Okay, so how do you find P? Well, you just gather the information that you know. So you know that S equals 5. You also know this formula here. So you just put what you know inside the formula. So that means I'm putting 5, because S is the same thing as 5. I'm just using 5, or putting in 5 where S is there. So then this formula becomes P equals 4 times 5 instead of S. Okay, I've put 5 here instead of S because 5 and S are the same thing here. So then P is going to equal 4 times 5, which is 20. Okay, so now we found what we were trying to find, and that is P. Okay, so using this formula here, and using the information that we know, S equals 5, we can find our answer. Let's try another one. A equals 1/2 times B times H. Okay, this is a formula that you use to find the area of a triangle. And let's say that we know that B equals 10 and H equals 6. Okay, so again, what do I know here? I know that B is 10 and H is 6, and I know this formula here. And that means I know this part, I know B, because B is 10, this part is 10. I know H, this is 6. I don't know what A is. Okay, so this is actually what we need to find. What do I need to find is, I need to find A in this case. Okay, so again, I'm just putting in these numbers. I'm putting in these numbers where B and H are. So I'm rewriting the formula, except I'm using 10 instead of B, because 10 and B are the same thing. And then I'm using 6 instead of H, so I'm putting 6 for H's. Now I'm just calculating. 1/2 times 10, well, this cancels. So that is 5 times 6, and that is going to equal 30. Okay, so A equals 30 would be our answer. Okay, so this is how you can use formulas to get the answer. Okay, let me actually give you a word problem now, and how we can use formulas to solve word problems. So the room is currently 25 degrees Celsius. Then what is the temperature in Fahrenheit? Okay, so for those of you who don't know, there are two different ways of measuring temperatures. One is Celsius and the other is Fahrenheit. Celsius is used in most places of the world. Fahrenheit is mostly used in America. So let's try and change Celsius to Fahrenheit. And we are given the formula that F equals 9/5 times C plus 32. This is our formula right here. So let's ask our two questions. What do I know? I know that the room is currently 25 degrees Celsius. This is what we know right now. Okay, so we know that C equals 25. We know that C equals 25. And the second part, what do I need to find? I need to find F. The question is asking, what is the temperature in Fahrenheit? I need to find F. Okay, so this part, I need to find this part. I already know what this part is. Okay, so let's put in what we know inside the formula and see what we get. So F equals 9/5 times, I'm using 25 instead of C because 25 equals, or C equals 25. Let me actually put it as a fraction so that I can multiply with 9/5 plus 32. Then I can cancel here. So this 5 is 1, 25 becomes 5. Then we get that F equals 9 times 5, which is 45 over 1 plus 32. 45 over 1 is just 45 plus 32. So that is going to equal 77. So F equals 77 is our answer. Okay, so we've used this formula here. We've used this formula, and we've used the information that we know to find our answer. And this is how you can use formulas to find your answer. Even though you don't actually understand why this formula is true in this case, you can still use formulas to find the answer, given or provided the information that you need to know to find that answer. Okay, let's try one last problem. And this time let's go from Fahrenheit to Celsius instead of going from Celsius to Fahrenheit. So the room or the temperature is 104 degrees Fahrenheit. What is this in Celsius? And let me give you the formula. C equals F minus 32 times 5/9. This is our formula. Okay, so again, what do we know? Or what do I know? We know that Fahrenheit is 104. And we also know this formula here. What do I need to find? I need to find C. The question is asking, what is this temperature in Celsius? So we need to find what C is. And to do that, again, you can just plug in what you know into the formula. So let's see what you get. You get C equals, in place of F, let's put 104 minus 32 times 5/9. Okay, 104 minus 32 is 72 times 5/9. Again, you can put this as an improper fraction so that you can multiply with this fraction. 9 becomes 1, 72 becomes 8. So C is 8 times 5, which is 40. Okay, and this would be our answer. Okay, so you can find the answer using formulas and using the information that you know. Plug that information into the formula and you can get the answer. Okay, and this is a very important technique that you'll need to know as you progress in math.